I'm incredibly excited about this specific topic that's about to happen. And the reason why is there was a question earlier from the audience about how do we get L1 and senior folks to actually do this stuff and get aligned and all that kind of stuff. And I think Mary's conversation now is a really, really, really good example about how you do that in a really difficult set of circumstances. Well, difficult, maybe not difficult. In a set of circumstances where you're bringing 3 companies together. So Mary's going to share a lot more about that. So with that, I will introduce our next speaker, Mary Wheelwright from Trellix. Mary's Senior Director of Business Operations at Trellix, specializes in driving execution, process improvements, and cross-functional collaboration, led business operations for the executive leadership team since the company's launch, and formalized processes like OKRs, business metric reviews. And she pioneered the creation of the Trellix Corporate Strategy Office. So with that, welcome, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, hello. How's everyone? No. How is everyone? Okay. All right. You have candy at your table? I want you to get excited because we are going to have fun. We are going to rock. All right, let's go. I am here today to share a little bit about Trellix and talk about how we transformed our operating cadence from routine to rockstar. Okay, a couple quick intros. Hey, that's me. All right. As was mentioned before, I run business operations at Trellix, and along with my rockstar team that is here today, please thank them for the candy, we turn business challenges and big ideas into concrete results. We own the OKR program at Trellix, and we drive strategy execution through our strategy program. All right, so you may be wondering, who is Trellix? Well, we are the result of a double carve-out M&A. You may recognize the 2 names here on the slide. And to say this was complex isn't really a fair statement, because this was probably one of the most challenging things I've been through in my professional career. We were bringing together 2 different cultures, 2 different approaches to corporate processes and data, 2 similar but very dissimilar product lines, and our executive team, all new executive team. At the most basic level, when we first came together, we weren't in the same systems. So we couldn't see each other's calendars or where other people were located. So if you think about that for a minute, if I, from FireEye, wanted to meet with someone from McAfee, I first had to guess what their email address was, or I had to find somebody who knew it. Then I'd email them, say, hey, can you meet? Here's when I'm available. Wait for them to respond. Usually it didn't match when I was available, and we'd go back and forth till we finally found a time that we could meet. And if you think about this kind of environment, when we're trying to bring 2 companies together and unite a brand new leadership team, how do you do that when you couldn't even do the most basic thing like schedule a meeting? Really, really challenging. But fear not, fast forward to today. We figured it out. We're fully integrated. We are one company. We operate as one company. And we're starting to gain industry recognition. So the story I'm here to share with you today is, how did we do that? Well, the punchline is we had to be different. We had to approach the way we operated in a different way. When we talk about what our company does, we're a cybersecurity company. We talk a lot about soulful work. We talk a lot about our open and native products. There's not a lot of companies that think about how they engage in the industry in that way. We also knew that we had to be different about how we approached how this company operated, because we couldn't just do the same old thing. All right, when I was thinking about how would I take this very complicated last couple years and talk about that today, I struggled a little bit because so much has happened. You can see from the first 2 slides where we started, where we are now. And I was reminded of this book I read called The Ritual Effect, and I said, aha, that's it, okay. So what I want to share with you today are 3 key milestones that we accomplished, or are in the process of accomplishing at Trellix, that really took our operating cadence from routine to ritual to rockstar. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what do we mean by routine and ritual. So routine, these are things you need to get done. There's not a lot of emotion involved. You check it off the to-do list and you move on to the next thing. A ritual is mindful engagement in a routine. It gives you emotions that a routine does not. Let's use an example. There was yoga this morning. Did anyone go to yoga? So let's talk fitness. Has anyone here started a new exercise routine, new exercise class, new plan? Nobody? Okay, a couple people, great. So think about that for a second. When you are starting something new, it feels disruptive. You have to figure out, when am I going to fit this into my schedule? How am I even going to make this happen? However, you know you just need to do it. You committed to this thing, so you slot it in whenever you can, and you check it off the list. Now, think about when you're a few months into your routine. It's become part of your lifestyle now, right? You put it in your calendar so you don't miss your workout. When you miss your workout, you're grumpy. You have an emotion attached to that now. The same thing applies at work. When you're trying to do something new or something different, you have to have the routine in place. You have to have the habit. And then you get it to become a ritual by driving mindful engagement with folks. Okay, let's talk Trellix. All right, so I already mentioned we're 2 companies coming together, new CEO. First thing we needed to do, establish the heartbeat of our business. We needed to establish our operating rhythm. So the guidance we were given when we first started was from our CEO. He wanted a weekly meeting with his directs, and he wanted to see data, and he wanted to see data in native systems. That's all the guidance we were given. Okay, great, we will make that happen. The nice thing was we were given a blank slate to design this, put it all together. And that is exactly what we had to work with. No one had done this before. We literally got in a room and whiteboarded it out. Who's who in the zoo? What data do we have? What data do we need? When can we get it? Who should be in the meeting? When should we review what? Like, we were starting at our most basic. But that's okay, because we were building the routine. This was really hard. A lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of alignment, a lot of getting people to come to the meeting, to come with data. But we did it. All right, so after a few months of trying to get our arms around this organization, we were able to ritualize our operating cadence. We up-leveled everything off the whiteboard. Now we're in PowerPoint, so we're graduating a little bit. And we put together this quarterly operations calendar. How we ritualized this is leaders could see a quarter at a time when they were on the agenda and what they were expected to present. Believe me when I say people got excited when they saw they were on the agenda and they did not have the data that they needed. So now we have emotion involved. What was great about this is it really helped people lean into what we were doing. And at the time, it wasn't just our executive team, it was their leaders as well. So this really helped ritualize, not just at our leadership level, but a little bit down, what we were trying to do, how we were trying to drive the heartbeat of our business. And then OKRs. So I'm going to kind of double dip a little bit. OKRs really is what pushed our operating cadence and our operating rhythm into rockstar status. But OKRs is also our second key milestone, because this was huge. One part of the company, when we came together, they were kind of doing OKRs. The other part wasn't. So we really had to start over, start from scratch there. But what OKRs did was it helped us rapidly align. It helped us it helped us hold our leaders accountable for what they committed to. And it helped us drive a more automated rhythm of the business. Like I said, we were in PowerPoint. We were running our weekly meeting out of Workboard because that was the only shared system we had at the time. So it only made sense to pull in OKRs and start that process. And what we found was, a lot like what you've heard today, people weren't super excited about this. They weren't sure what it meant. It was adding work. They were really busy. They were trying to integrate, and so on and so on. And so what we did is we simplified this for them. And what we're showing here is how we talked about it with them. We had to start building that routine. We had to train them. We had to teach them what OKRs were. We taught them how to write OKRs. That's our crawl. Got them bought in, got them building the routine with the calendar, with the cadence. Then we moved them over to walk, ritualizing it, because we reviewed it in our weekly operations meeting. And they reviewed it in their weekly staff meetings. And we were really lucky because our CEO was a big believer in OKRs. He had used them at a prior company. He was a huge champion for us. So really it was wonderful to have his voice helping us drive that drumbeat and that cadence. Then we got to run. So run is, hey, we don't even think about setting OKRs. We just do it now. We talk about them. We're aligning cross-functionally. Because one of the things we found was, even though we had taught our leaders how to write OKRs, they were doing a great job, they were talking about them in their staff meeting, they weren't talking with each other. So we had to make that happen for them. So instead of setting OKRs individually, we all set them together. And that really helped align on, hey, I'm prioritizing this, how come you're not? That really helped us break down those silos. And I'm happy to report that our OKR program really is in rockstar status. So my team deserves all the credit for this. They meet with our OKR champions. Every function has a champion. My team meets with them all the time. They want to know what's working, what's not working, what help do they need. And then my team puts together custom training for them every quarter to help address whatever it is they're struggling with. We're big fans of scorecards. You've heard a lot about scorecards today. But man, if you are having a hard time getting an executive into Workboard, show them a scorecard. I guarantee it will change their mind. And we're just starting to scratch the surface on AI, co-author. We have a lot of big ideas coming here, so watch this space. More to come. All right, so at this point, we have our leaders and our employees used to our operating rhythm. They know every week. Our CEO holds his meeting. We have everyone pretty well versed in OKRs. So, like all rock stars, we were wondering what's next. And this is really where strategy execution comes in. So we see this now that we're through our M&A, now that we are fully integrated, now that we can schedule meetings with each other. What's next? And this is really what's important for us. We're ready to tackle and be mindful about our strategy execution. We see this huge opportunity to further align deeper down in the organization and help every employee understand how their work directly contributes to our strategy. So, again, we needed to keep this simple, so we are using this strategy framework to help talk about how strategy and OKRs are connected. So how we talk about this is our strategy supports our mission and vision. OKRs are the work that support our strategy. Work streams are the programs that power our OKRs. And all of that is underpinned by our corporate culture. We have an internal webpage, a strategy webpage. This is on it. Every all hands, we talk about this. And we always have a strategy topic on our all hands meetings. However, a framework is only as good as your activation of that framework. So we have put it into action. How have we done that? Well, our success drivers are really our top priorities at the company. These are the things that matter the most. And we talk about those every week in our ELT meeting, our operating meeting. And OKRs are that golden thread, that connection between the two. Now, I would say from a strategy execution perspective, if I'm being honest, we're in the process of shifting from routine to ritual, but that's okay. It makes sense for what our company has been through, and it makes sense for where our company is going. We also had to meet our leaders where they were. They weren't ready to have conversations like this. And that was a key learning for us, is even though we could see the finish line, we had to bring them with us. All right, I know I went through that really fast. But in closing, I would say I appreciate being able to share a little bit about our company, about Trellix, our journey, where we started, where we got to today. I also really appreciated being able to talk a little bit about our operating rhythm, OKRs, and strategy execution, where we started and where we are today. And I would say for Trellix, the thing that we always kept in mind, because this was hard, we had a lot of challenges to overcome, we had a lot of things working against us, but the thing that really resonated with us, and I think why we were so successful, is we thought big. We had that rock star mentality. We were going to sell out the arena. We didn't take no for an answer. And it was tough, but we persevered. A lot more to go. That's all right. So I guess I would sum this up as think about your operational cadence. Think about OKRs. Think about all of this as you're starting a movement. And I have some bands up here on the slide. Started the grunge movement, started the punk movement, started the girl band movement. But they did that because they were different and they wanted to do something new. And that's the same mentality that we took at Trellix for what we were able to accomplish. We had to do something new. We had to find a different way of performing. We had to. Our success depended on it. So I challenge you all, think big, think like rock stars, and go for it. Thank you.